safe to say I would have never found this place had it not been for the innkeeper where I'm staying here in Galena. He's telling a story about an area that there might be some major changes happening to the town, and he had mentioned a road. I'm like, I'm going to go by and take a ride and get down that road before things really change, which apparently they might be in the not too distant future. Possibly. Anyway, he had suggested I come up here to this area called Horseshoe Bend. I would have never found this. It was a little dirt road that I took to get up here. And not only is there a great view, but there's all these wildflowers around here. And there's a path that's cut through the field of flowers where I can enjoy the flowers. This is gorgeous. So I think I've arrived in wildflower heaven here. What a great find here. Horseshoe Bend. And again, I would have never found this place if it wasn't for the hotel or the innkeeper. And that's what I want to talk about. Kind of starting this trip out. A little bit of a hike, a little out of breath, but starting this trip out. And I immersed myself into a really cool scenario this morning. It was stayed in a bed and breakfast. Gorgeous little place here, right on the edge of the little town called Galena. And met a couple of couples that were really interesting. They had traveled all around this area, gave me some recommendations. The innkeeper gave me some recommendations. And yes, there's a lot of bugs flying around, but what a gorgeous find here. And I really hope to do a little bit more of this, you know, meeting more people that are traveling, staying in unique lodging outside of the hotels. I know you can stay these roadside places and you just don't meet the people. What a great breakfast. Great start to this trip. And what I hope to do more than anything, I think, is get some more people on, or get some people on camera today. The hotel operator being one of them. If he agrees to that, I'll attempt later today. But I just want him to tell a little bit of his personal story about what he's doing here, what he has done, because it was really interesting. I was talking a little bit to him this morning, and he had reached his pivot moment, and this venture of this bed and breakfast was him and his wife's pivot moment. It's a very interesting story, so hopefully we'll hear a little bit more from him later. In the meantime, off to the next location, which, to be honest with you, I have no idea what that is just yet. I hope you like the flowers so far. I've got to be honest with you, I've only skied once. It was on a glacier called Stubaier Glacier in Innsbruck, Austria. I'm at a really cool ski place here. I forget the name of it. Mount Chestnut, I think. I'm about to do something I've always wanted to do. I'm about to jump onto one of these alpine sleds. Well, it's pretty cool. I asked her if I could mount my action cam on the front. She says, yeah, if it doesn't fall off. That's the plan anyway. Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
have
There
fun.
you go. Thanks. those things. It's called a, well, it's essentially a luge, if you would. Alpine luge. First time I ever saw one of those, it was somewhere in Europe. I don't know, Austria, Switzerland, something like that. That was pretty cool. I can't imagine what this place looks like with all the snow around here. I gotta send my sister a couple of pictures. Oh, look at them. Oh my gosh, check this out. You know, I find myself in a mix of just putting the phone down or just putting the camera down and just enjoying where I am and capturing stuff, capturing the clips because I'm putting videos together. You gotta kind of find that balance of like, I'm gonna film now, I'm gonna do B-roll now, this is part of the story, and then just put the stuff away to really enjoy the ride, you know, which is what I'm on now. That was very cool. Definitely recommend doing that. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. If this $15 ride did not include the ride up and I had to walk up here, I don't think that would have happened. In fact, I know it would not have happened. So I may be a little slow at actually making this happen, but I can't help but, as the day unfolds and the layers of the onion get peeled back, that I, in my own mind, am kind of seeing this trip with these little trips, little pieces of the day. I'm viewing them as a documentary. What do I mean by that? I was just talking to a guy as I got off of the thing I was just on. It's a young kid. I should have gotten the camera out. I didn't. But I talked to him for about 20 minutes or so about this area, about the season, how the snow's formed. He was telling me about those snowmaker things and how they pull water up from the Mississippi. The snowmakers, you know, they work in conjunction with obviously the normal snow. But again, I could have had a lot of the stuff captured on video had I asked him and just turned the camera on. It looks like he would have been totally cool with it. But anyway, sometimes you just have to live in the moment, and that's what I was doing, learning a little bit about this area. And he said, you know, he asked if I skied. I says, I skied once on a glacier. Stubaiu Glacier to be exact. He said, come back and join us. So you never know, I might come back. I've got to be a little bolder with this camera thing. This is why I take these small roads. Mama Deer's like, what are you doing? Look at all these cows. Now, I'm not sure how high the water's supposed to be, but I can guarantee it's not supposed to be this high. I was wondering what I was going to run into while I was here. Like, for instance, this no parking sign here. I don't know if you can see it as I back into the water. You're obviously not going to park here. It's water. So by the sign of that, the boat ramp sign is underwater down there. Obviously the water is high. It's not flooded. I got down here fine. This tree that's way out there, I don't think it's supposed to be underwater. The old Mississippi. I could pretend I'm a newscaster. All right, here we are live. Yeah, it was when I was planning this trip, I kept looking at I was doing my maps, my planning, my itinerary from city to city, and it kept popping up, flood warning, flood warning, flood warning. So we're at the tail end of, I think, I was talking to them this morning. I guess they had 4 or 5 days of solid rain, inches and inches of rain up here. Some areas were flooded. In fact, one of the guys, I think he lived in Sioux City, Iowa, I think he said. Anyway, his basement was flooded, from what he heard. What I find interesting from an artistic standpoint is where the tree comes down into the water. If there's like a V or a few branches, seeing the inverse of that, the reflection, which you don't see that often, because rarely do you see trees growing out of the water unless you're in the swamp. I think it's interesting. So I started out the day with every intention of connecting with people. And although I connected with a lot of people at breakfast, I kind of wandered off the path. I found myself on a luge down by the Mississippi, checking out the flooding, photographing deer in the meadow. There's so much to see on this planet. I have no idea where I am, and I love that. There were no signs to show where this road was going, but I pinched in on my map. I think it eventually gets me down there. I'm driving down a gravel road now. I've got cornfields and what look to be abandoned farmhouses around here. Kind of odd. Up to the left, the last couple of homes I saw, they weren't really homes. They were like falling down barns, barns in various states of disarray, but freshly cut lawns, and I didn't see any homes. It was very strange. Anyway, I had no idea that parts of Illinois looked like this. That house back there looked like ivy took it over. There's again 3 abandoned barns and a freshly manicured lawn. Where's everybody living here? We're off the gravel road now. We're onto a paved road. I'm so glad I decided to visit here. Again, one of the things when I'm searching for these small towns to visit, really search the area around before I decide to come here, to make sure that there's some sort of an opportunity for a scenic drive during the day, which is what I'm doing now. Did I mention I love travel? Been stuck on this first day out, and like self-stressing, I guess, about, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that, you should be doing that. And I realize I'm not making a travel show here. I'm really just trying to sweep up a few breadcrumbs as I'm going and share them with the world, share my perspective. Odd things happen throughout the day. I notice things, texture and color, and things pop into my existence, and I share them. A deer pops in, a couple of fawns pop in there. I have a conversation with somebody, I share that. Short little memories that I can look back in several years, I guess, a couple years, or even as I'm editing this, and remind myself of what a cool day I had as the day unfolded. Again, it's a discount tour. You're not really getting anything of value, but I do realize if I was doing a travel show, which isn't really what I want to do, but if it's something I would do, maybe work with another team on, actually, there's a structure to it and a plan that's a lot deeper than the half-assed laid out itinerary I give myself. Actually, I did have a dream once that I would have loved when he was alive to have gone out and worked with Anthony Bourdain as a still photographer. In fact, I did a short little video about that years ago. Would have loved to have been there just to kind of document just the behind the scenes stuff, you know, the making of his show. I am intrigued by that world, the world of travel TV, I guess. I guess that's why I do some of this. But again, it's not, we're not churning out professional content, is what I'm trying to say. The second thing I was thinking about was, trying to get people on camera. I just spent the better part of 2 years of my life putting together a documentary with my friend Frank and George on Kim Kahana. And we did a ton of interviews, as well as right after that, I never really put the project together, but we interviewed a bunch of people, or a few people, that were part of a local wine bar that were closing one location and going to be opening up another one. All of those interviews I did were really formal interviews. They were 2 to 3 camera shoots. They were, everything was done with cameras on tripods. We lit them if need be. I had a boom mic come in. I laved them up. They were real. I learned a lot. It was baptized by fire, for sure. But I learned all of that stuff as we did it. And I keep thinking of that kind of quality when I want to interview people that I come in contact with. But I realize it can't be that, because number one, I don't have any of that gear here with me. But the end product is not going to be a well-polished interview. It's just somebody's perspective. I get a couple of quick sound bites on video, in, out, and then I move on to the next topic. So I'm certainly okay with that. I guess I would do it maybe with this camera here, could do it with my cell phone, could do it with any camera really. But the challenge for me, I know, because I know myself, is this fear of rejection, of even getting them to say, how do you ask somebody if you mind if they say a couple of things for your YouTube channel?
In 2 miles, turn left onto Marina Road.
I guess the simple answer is you just ask them. Yeah, I got to do that today. By the end of today, I will have done that at least once. And if I've done that, it's been a complete day. Oh, there's more wildflowers. Wow. If I do that, the day's been a total success. Here's an example of an area that... Mike, what are we looking at? I'm looking at an area that I don't know if it's supposed to be underwater, you know? I think this is all farmland that, I think this is part of the flood that happened up here recently. I'm almost 100% sure. You know, there's places I travel that are totally overrun with people, and there's places that are beautiful and you wonder why there aren't more people. I'm kind of in the latter. Of course, it's a Tuesday, but still. In this area that I just did a quick pan of, I mean, my camera is not doing it any justice, but there's like 1,000 little islands out there. And I looked out onto the water and there's nothing out there. There's no boats, no nothing. It's so pretty. And I don't know, it's just like a little gem here that for some reason there aren't many people around here. That's all I got. You know, it actually takes a little while for a town to grow on you. And it's kind of happened to me here. Really like it at night because, well, I don't like that all the shops close at night. It would be nice if they were open till 7 or 8. But the town does quiet down. And I do appreciate that. I can't imagine what this place must look like after freshly fallen snow. Around Christmas with all the lights up, decorations. I saw somewhere, I'll tell you in the car. Well, it was peaceful here. So this was in the official Galena County 2024 official visitor's guide. So apparently Galena is the name of the city and also the name of the county that the city is in. Because this talks about a lot of different places around here, some of which I drove to today. So in the fall and winter section, they talk about, at the very end, they say winter also brings Galena's Night of the Luminary and Living Windows. 5,000 candlelit luminaries light up the streets, steps and sidewalks and stores along Galena's Main Street, which is what I'm on now. It's enough cozy cheer to transport you straight into a Hallmark Christmas movie. Yeah, can you imagine this place? After a freshly fallen snow, holiday decorations out, and luminaries everywhere. Like, it must be beautiful. They must have carolers out here, and I don't know. Maybe I'll have to come back. All right, so I'm going to go to a place to finish out the evening now called Gateway Park. That book says you're supposed to be able to get a view of the town. We'll have to wait and see. If not, I got another place I'm going to hit. So let's get going. So I came up to this place. I was going up to this place called Gateway Park, but there's really nothing to photograph here. I'm going down to another park here. But the lighting is amazing. I mean, the sun there's like clouds and clouds, and it just kind of peeked through, and it's grazing across here. And I got nothing to photograph, but the color on my face. Look at that. Gotta love the sun. You know, I came up here to get a good shot of the city, but there's these telephone lines here that can't help but get them in the shot. But it's not even about the city anymore. It's just about the light. Get this amazing light happening everywhere, all through the clouds. Over here, of course, and even back this way. I am so glad the sun did what it did. What a gift. What a great way to end the day here. This here, of course, is the town of Galena. What's really cool about what's happening with the phone is it just keeps changing color temperatures, which I'm totally cool with. This over here was where I started, Grant Park, and this is a pedestrian bridge. I brought my tripod. I was going to do some brackets, but I'm just grabbing some iPhone shots, some video clips, and just enjoying this amazing light. So I started out the day with a plan, and of course, when you're doing these kind of stories, it's just a plan. It's basically a suggestion how to start the day. Ending the day here quite peacefully. Grant Park. It's really cooling down now, which is nice because it was warm today. But this lighting was just a gift. I'm going to enjoy what's left of it. And I think we'll wrap this video up in the morning. I'll do a couple of more things from downtown, I guess. Really like to get the owner of the bed and breakfast on camera, and maybe a shop owner. I think I talked about that. In fact, I know I did. That was the plan. Didn't happen, but we did enjoy some amazing light. All right, I'll see you in the morning.